Welcome to Gym Owner Freedom. I am Scott Carpenter, and I am a former broke, struggling, frustrated, and overworked gym owner that felt stuck no matter what I did to try and improve the business. Once I realized that the answer wasn't what I thought it was, just getting more clients, and after really doing the math on acquisition and churn rates, I realized I wasn't even playing a winnable game to begin with. With my current price structure, mathematically, there was no way I could afford to pay my staff so I could scale up and out of the business, that I can have the time, the money, the impact, and the freedom that I always knew I was capable of. Once I learned how to add value by selling transformational programs to people who needed more than just workouts, everything changed in my life. Today, I own 6 gyms that all run without me, and I am free to pursue my passion projects and work just because I love to, not because I have to. And if that's a goal that we mutually share together, then this is the show for you. I'm going to teach you the framework to make way more money with less clients and open up a world of possibilities to you. Subscribe, leave a review, and tune in every week. It'll change your life. I promise you that. All right, we should be connected to Facebook Live, which is excellent. So 2 ways to watch us, guys. You can be in the Gym Owner Freedom group on Facebook, or you've got access to our private Zoom room, which you are welcome to come on anytime. We can obviously see your comments and your chat, and if you want to chime in over video, it's a lot easier to do that. But either way, you are welcome to join into it. And it's exciting today because we're actually going to do like a 6-part series and break down exactly what we're doing with a lot of you. Carl and I were just talking a minute ago, right before we hit the live button, but we were just talking about how just trying to get in quality dream clients into the studio, the ones that don't want to lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks and do nothing for it. And how everybody's asking, is this free? Right. So we're all feeling this. But yeah, so we have a good 6-part series for you. And we're going to kind of cater it around how you can 5X your 6-week challenge. So today's going to be part 1 of 6. Now, not everybody has a 6-week challenge. That being said, almost all of you have some version of a 6-week challenge, because this hit the fitness world by a shitstorm several years ago, right? And it took off like a rocket. It caused a slew of problems years later, though, for all of us. And a lot of us have some sort of a 6-week challenge. Some of you are still doing it where like you advertise it as free and then bring people in. And of course it's not. Some of you have adapted it. Like, for instance, a lot of CrossFit gyms will do your on-ramp program, because CrossFit's very specific. You need to learn how to do it before you just jump into a class, right? So some of you guys do a modified 6-week challenge. And you do an onboarding, maybe it's personal training for the first few weeks, X amount of sessions, then you roll into your normal stuff. The problem is anybody running this 6-week challenge, we have a lot of issues with it. So we're going to go into those, and we're going to teach you the exact solutions that we have done in our gyms to overcome that. So today, in part 1, we're going to talk about how adding just 20 true high-ticket clients can add $20,000 per month to your revenue. So an extra $20K a month is a big boost. I think that would change everybody's life watching this to some degree or another. And when we talk about high ticket clients, let's clarify, this isn't like a $599 6-week person. That's not high ticket. Okay. That's a mid ticket at best. And we'll explain what a true high ticket is. What is the value of that as we get into this? So here's the agenda for today. We're gonna here's what we're covering. So we're gonna teach you about the secret that we kind of unlocked, and how 20 can equal 20 grand a month in revenue, which is a lot, right? But it's very few people that can add a lot onto your revenue. We're gonna talk about our origin story, how Dave and I teamed up and put a change to this in 2020. And it was kind of a crazy story. A lot happened on purpose, a lot happened by accident. But we stumbled upon kind of a Frankenstein baby that worked well in one location that we did it in, and we spread it to the other ones, and it did so well, and it gave birth to PT Legends by accident. So we've done a lot, and we'll share how we kind of came about that and why this thing works. And it was in 2020 that we had that breakthrough, and a $50,000 investment that we made completely changed the way we did business. And we got lucky with it. And then we'll also kind of talk about how it rolls into the 63-day transformation. This is the fulfillment program we bolted onto what we learned that's super scalable and allowed us to scale to all our locations where we weren't the ones doing all the work. So that's what we're going to cover today, step by step, in this one of 6 part series right here. My objective for this training is, one, I want to help you build a vision around the concept of making more money with less clients. Every single marketing company, every single person cold DMing your ass on Facebook is trying to convince you that they can bring 100 leads into your business for free or cheap or blah, blah, blah. Okay. And we all know how well that works. So instead of always thinking more is better, more is better, more is better, I want you I want you to create this vision of, what if you could just have a handful of dream clients that could get you where you need to be, that value what you do, that are happy to pay a premium, that complain the least, that expect the least, but do the most. It's a really great way to run a business. And so I want you to wrap your head around of not just getting more clients and adding more ad spend and adding more complaints. Okay. I want you to think about more money with less clients. My second objective for this training is, I want to convince you to block a timeout in your calendar over the next 5 weeks to watch these live trainings. This is part 1 of 6. Okay. There are 5 more weeks where we're going to teach you step by step how to do this exactly in your gym with your business model, not our business model, your business model. It can be applicable to a boot camp, a semi-private training facility, a one-on-one training facility. It can be applicable to an athletic training facility. It could be applicable to any combination of those things. So I want you to block out Thursdays at 12 p.m. PST. It's 3 p.m. EST, wherever you're at, the next 5 weeks on Thursdays. Okay. Feel free to comment, whether it's on Facebook or in Zoom, in the chat. Drop your email in the comments if you want us to just add you to the calendar appointment. We'll manually add you to the calendar appointment so you get it for the next 5 weeks. Does that sound good? Okay. And some of you are not going to be able to stay on. Some of you always can't stay on until the very end. So we're going to give this away now. We'll show it to you again at the end, but you can get a free 15-minute call with us to take your first steps in this. And what's the objective on this 15-minute call, Dave?
We're building out the high ticket offer. Like, we're always going to work from a place a week ahead of time. Okay. So
beautiful.
Inside of this 15-minute call, we've just created a 20-page guide on everything you need to know about building your program. Get on with either Craig or myself. We'll start building out kind of your skeleton structure, and then you'll get so much more value out of next week's live training Thursday, where we go super deep into the build pillar.
Yes. Excellent. So a lot of you guys struggle with, like, hey, how should I design my high ticket offer? Based on what I do in my gym and my model, right? And how I deliver it. B, my location, right? You might be in a rural town versus a big city versus a suburb or anywhere in between. And so we like to take a look at your demographics. We like to take a look at your business model and build it in specific to your business model based on how you deliver it. Okay. And so it's a really, really, really valuable call. There's people on the live right now that have benefited a lot from having a high ticket offer. We will help it build you out and make it specific to you, your business model, and your demographics. So that's QR code, or use this link right here to book that free 15 minutes on us. It's not a time where you're going to sign up with us. Should you want to work with us, we're not even going to talk about that. You'd have to set up a separate call should you want to. But if you want help building out the right offer for you, just hit that QR code, hit that link. And Carlene, if you're listening, my assistant, make sure to put this link inside of our show notes if anybody's watching this on the podcast in the future too. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to walk through this today. Wanted to get this out. We'll show it again at the end. So if you're busy right now, no worries. We'll show it again at the end. And again, if we zoom out for 1 second to look at why we do all this stuff, why we're investing the time, why we're crazy enough to start businesses and take a huge amount of risk and personal guarantees. It's not just the money. And yeah, we're going to talk about money today and how to make way more money with fewer clients, because getting people in the door, that's the hardest thing in the world right now. Getting qualified, good people in the door, right? And we're going to teach you how to make that a lot easier. But yeah, number one is we want to make big, sexy profits. But that's not enough. We have been thrown so many curveballs in this industry in such a short period of time. I mean, we're talking the explosion of the 6-week challenges, right? We're talking massive algorithm shifts in Google, in Facebook, multiple times. Apple, the iOS update that threw ads off, just sidelined them for like 6 to 9 months until it recovered, right? We got thrown COVID. That was a big curveball. The point is you can't just make the money. You have to learn how to keep that money and not pay to the IRS. You have to learn how to turn that profit into indestructible wealth so that you can live the lifestyle that you want for you and your family. These are 3 big steps, right? Number one is what we're just focusing on today. There's a few things we got to do to make these big, sexy profits. We have to lead with price to win the game. This is where your high ticket offer comes into play. If you're running a 6-week challenge right now, or your version of it, that's not a high ticket offer. That's a mid ticket offer at best. Now that can do very, very well. Okay. But it's not the full story. A lot of you guys are stuck in the mud with where you're at. So we're going to teach you how to lead with price by also having a true high ticket offer in. There's other steps. Do a lead flow, right? Getting butts in the seats, qualified, building your team to execute simple systems so that you can automate your profits and choose whether you work 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 hours a week in your gym. So that's it. This is stuff that it's just a show, not tell, guys. This isn't theory. We break it down on what this does in our gyms, what our gyms do with revenue, what our gyms do on profit. We show you P&L statements. We can do ones that make. My goal for you is I would like a location to do 200 to 300K profit at 30 to 50% margins. That way you don't need to bring in $1 million a year. You can do that bringing in 40K a month. That's doable by everybody everywhere. And you can make a couple $100,000 doing that or more. Now, if you're only making $100,000, for a lot of you, that's step one. It's great. But the bottom line is you can make these things a lot more profitable than you think. We're just going to show you exactly how we did it. Sound fair? Okay. Also, just for my reference, I would love to know this. Comment right now, so we got 3 things, right? Big, sexy profits, turn into indestructible wealth, and then live the profit lifestyle. Which one are you predominantly focused on right now? Drop it in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or you're on Zoom. Would love to see it, because as we develop these future trainings, we know exactly where to meet you with where you're at. There's a lot of things to do in these things, and I can't wait to share them all with you. But if you have a preference on what you want to learn, drop it in the chats. That way I know. 1 and 2, John, indestructible wealth, good, okay? Because we can start pushing some of these things up, and it's really cool what you can do. Profits, yeah, everybody's in a different phase. And they're all interrelated, right? Because the more profit you make, the faster you can accelerate your wealth. But want to get to 3 ASAP. Love it. 1 and 2, awesome, cool. Thank you guys. So yeah, we'll show you exactly what we do and what we've done. With what we do in PT Legends, there's a whole ton, right? Your prices and sales are one of the most important things that you can do. That's what the next 6 weeks are going to be all about, right, Dave?
100%.
Yeah. So we are going laser focused on step 1, make big, sexy profits. And on step 1 of step 1, which is really leading with price and selling it in our high ticket launch. We will get into leads and our incredible Gym OS operating system that we have created to really simplify the hell out of your business. To get leverage, you need people and systems to run it. And when you get it, like Carl, you just said, I want them all in 10 locations, the big sexy profits in 10 locations. I love that big ass goal. Hell yeah. And when you get there, the people in simple systems that's scalable, that's it. That's huge. So we'll get to all this, guys, in our lives, but the next 6 weeks are all going to be laser focused on price and sales. And in our high ticket launch program, which is where a lot of people start. Dave, you want to take it away and kind of share a little bit about this?
Yeah, heck yeah, I do. So I don't get nervous before calls because I live on calls for a living. The last 4 years, I was really nervous for this call. I've been so deep inside of this build thing for the last 4 years. Like that's I do it 24/7, 365. I guess we put 22 cohorts through like high ticket launch at this point in time. Um, it was I took a kind of a pause like on Monday because we're writing a book on this too.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and I spent 4 hours just writing down like all the iterations of what we're doing. I don't know about you, Scott, when you wrote your first book, like the first chapter, I'm like, this thing probably sucks. And I took it to my wife, Carrie. And Carrie has just witnessed every part of this journey together. I'm like, can you read this? And she got emotional and she cried. And she's like, the amount of work that you guys have done the last 4 years to like just read the simplicity of what you guys are doing just in the build things. She's like, it's just she was crying. It's probably, there's some other variables. I think she's emotional, it's kind of that week of the month, but there's a lot of variables. But the bottom line is like she really she emotionally got involved at the dinner table after reading the chapter. So I'm just so pumped to share. Like we're going to give you guys the entire playbook. I know there's some current legends on here. There's some legends that have never we are going to give you guys the entire playbook. The next 5 weeks, we're going to break down every single part of our sales process. We're going to teach you how to build your high ticket program. We're going to teach you how to sell it with conviction. We're going to teach you how to fulfill it in 30 minutes a week. And we're going to teach you how to renew it. This is a key to get 6 to 12 month EFTs. Like that's the mission that we're on. But this story starts with Scott, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like Arnold?
Oh, 10 out of 10, easy.
Okay. So I don't like Arnold. I'm like probably like a 3 on a scale of 10 with Arnold. I'm a Jerry Maguire guy. Like Jerry Maguire is my fictional hero. A lot of what we've done at PTL is based off of Jerry Maguire. So Scott, like I think you're probably down with Jerry Maguire, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love that movie.
Okay. So this story, guys, it really starts right here. So it was probably 2009 when I just got into the fitness industry. And I watched the movie Jerry Maguire for like the third or fourth time. And it's that first couple minutes of the movie where he has his big epiphany, right? And if you guys want the video, I had to get hyped for this training today. Put Jerry Maguire in the comments. I will give you the best 2.5 minute hype video of your entire life. But in the process of that 2.5 minutes, like he has this big light bulb moment that more clients is not the answer. And like for you guys who haven't watched Jerry Maguire, he's like, forget it. I'm going to work with fewer clients. And you can see him and Rod Tidwell right there in this photo having a good time. In 2009, when I rewatched that movie, that's when I'm like, man, the fitness industry, it'd be really cool if that's what it became one day. And at the time, I just started personal training. So, but I'll still remember that moment. I was like, how cool would it be if instead of the industry focusing on more clients, more supplements, more of X, Y, and Z, what if we focused on less? So like that was kind of the start of my journey on like, hey, how different would it be to work with less clients? Now we've proven that you can actually make more money with less clients, but this thing all started with Jerry Maguire. So that's kind of the starting point. What I want to do next, guys, is I want you guys to all like stop and I want you to marinate. How much different would your life be if you only worked with your dream clients? If you only worked with your dream clients. So this is the first year that we rolled out our high ticket program. I got a little emotional creating this slide. Like I look at every single guy, Steve, who's getting ready to smash some lateral raises. You have Big Chuck in the corner hitting a tricep press down. You have Steve Kinner. You have the Boss Man. These people, they paid me a lot of money, but they filled up my cup. Like I can't tell you the guy, the top left in the middle, Keith, I'm still coaching him, I guess 4 years later. Over the course of the last 4 years, he's paid me $80,000 to coach and mentor him. And even today, after we worked out together, we had a conversation around God and business, like the things that matter more than anything. So what I want you guys to do right now is to really envision, what if you only worked with your dream clients, 10 to 20 of them? Okay. Scott, what are you the most passionate about? What gets you out of bed? I think I even said it, right? It's talking about wealth. Your energy changes, like your inner being changes when you talk about wealth. So even for you, I want you to marinate on what happened if you worked with 10 gym owners that was just focusing on their wealth. Like, what would that mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. I'm so freaking passionate about it. Just because the sense of security and stability and abundance it creates for you and your family.
Mm.
Instead of that, as business owners, we got that insecurity. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, what is it going to look like in 4 years? Can I keep doing this 5 years from now? A lot of us like, I don't know. We don't want to think there, right? So like, and I've been through the worst of everything from the verge of bankruptcy, meeting with attorneys, digging my way out of poor credit and bounce checks and you name it, and getting to the other side. It means everything for me to do that.
Do you guys feel the energy change when Scott started talking about what he's most passionate about? Like we all have I'm going to get to it in a second, like that inner feeling of like, we know exactly who we want to serve. Caleb, can you unmute yourself? Caleb is brand new to PT Legends. He's into week 2 of the cohort. Caleb, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
You know, we've done this before, but like marinate, what would it mean to you, brother, if you just worked with your dream clients? Tim, were put on this earth to serve.
It would be so much more enjoyable. It would feel less like work and more something like a desire to go do.
And how much more action would you take? If you knew you're going out there and working with your dream, how much more of the uncomfortable action would you take day in and day out?
It would motivate me. I would do whatever it takes.
Okay. So guys, that's what I want you guys all to do right now, because it all starts with that mindset, right? Because there's people out there in the world that you guys want to help and serve, but you have to believe in your heart and soul that you can go out and find those people and guide them. And just, it's really simple math, guys. Just 20 of these dream clients who paid you $10,000 to $15,000 a year. Still got, you can run whatever model you want to, but just envision that 10, 15, 20 dream clients, they're paying you $10,000 to $15,000 a year. Scott, you're the math guy. What is the math on that? 10 dream clients at 10K a year, or at 10,000. $10,000 times 10. What is that?
$10,000 times 10 is $100,000.
Okay. How much quicker are they into that wealth bucket that you're so passionate about?
Oh, it doesn't take much. That's the beautiful thing. Like 10 clients and you can be there. 10 clients and now you can start building that indestructible wealth. Like it doesn't take much. And as I'm so excited. Like I want to get into it now. Can we just talk about wealth now? But what you can do with just a few thousand extra a month and turn that into money that makes money for you forever. It's just unbelievable. Like that picture is just there. It can change everything. All the fear, all the insecurity, and just you having a whole different life than you thought was possible is not far off. It really isn't.
I can't even bring up wealth in front of you because you changed into this just wealth freaking superhero. So you guys get the point here. So before I don't think most people know my story, like my part of this. Like Scott, like I didn't even know from 2016 to 2019. Most of you guys know Scott's story of you went through hell and back for those probably 5 years, right? From 2015 to 2018 with just all the stress, or it was even before that.
It was like starting out. It started in 2012 when I bought the failing gym, right? And then turned it around. But again, it's probably 2012 to 2016, 17. It was brutal. But even as I was a personal trainer for Lifetime Fitness and I was by the skin of my teeth for a lot of years. And I love the fact that you found this photo.
So good. Isn't it?
At that point I still had hair. That was probably a year and a half into gym ownership. That shit went fast.
I had to dig this up under the archives right there. You look like a child, and then I look like an idiot bodybuilder trying to be an IFBB pro. Like that's our starting point right there. Like I had $14 in my bank account when I'm like, okay, I need to work with Scott. Like we always knew we were going to work together. Like this picture was probably taken right before I had $14 in my bank account. And I'm like, hey Scott, I think I'm ready to run your gym. So like my story is a lot different though than yours, just because my world was kind of perfect. If you really think about it, like you handed me the keys to Arrowhead. I blew Arrowhead up. We had the same staff for 4 years. Like I had no idea you were struggling with anything. Like I was on my own little island. You know, we had Trisha, we had Big John, we had Jake Page, we had Jake Nicholson, like the perfect staff. Like we had a freaking perfect gym. So my story is a little bit different than yours, to where like I didn't sift through all of the crap and all the obstacles that you had to go through. Like after partnering with you, you gave me the keys to Arrowhead, and we quickly turned it around. And for 4 years, honestly, my life was perfect. But it was the year of 2019 when things started to really change for me. It was the beginning of 2019, and I couldn't really put a finger on it at the time. I just knew that I was meant for more than just being a gym owner that counted reps and passed out meal plans. We had a lot of 5-star reviews. Business was fantastic. Revenue is great. Profit was great. But starting about 2019, the beginning of it, I just knew that there was just something missing. Got through that year. Blues win the Stanley Cup. So shout out to the Blues. Carrie got pregnant. And I'll never forget this moment, December 23rd, 2019. Asian guy, Lin Tring from Australia, caught my attention with an ad. And I clicked on that ad. That ad changed my life. It's a big part of the reason that we're here today. Lin Tring, and it was at my kitchen table in Southeast Missouri with my parents. He was telling my story to me, the exact pain points of a successful gym owner. He was repeating them back to me for 20 minutes. And this was before I knew high ticket even existed. Like this was, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I called Carrie over. I'm like, you have to watch this. So for 20 minutes, we watched this thing together. Okay. Fast forward the clock. I spent $10,000. I didn't even know there was $10,000 programs, because Lin Tring was telling my story back to me better than I could say it. So what was my pain point? I just knew there was something bigger out there. I looked at myself as a really good gym owner that was a professional rep counter. Scott, at the time we were good, but we were like at that $40,000 to $45,000 range, right? Like we weren't sneaking to that 50K marker. And I felt like I was just in the rat race, right? I was just showing up. It was like, you know, nothing was bad, but there was just that other level out there, right? So Lin Tring told that story to me better than I could ever say it. So what my hope is today, guys, if you get anything out of this, if I could just have one person have their Lin Tring moment, then my job here on this call is done. That changed everything for me, which leads into the potato physique. So hired Lin Tring. Okay, that was my first $10,000 investment. I hired another online coach, I guess, as the pandemic was hitting. And my $1 billion idea was an online program called the Potato Physique. Potatoes are the best dieting food in the entire world. No one can argue with that. So I wanted to build a movement around potatoes. I wanted to teach people how they can eat carbs and lose weight. So Carrie and I partnered. I don't know if you guys have attempted to build an online movement. It is hell. It is hard building anything from scratch. So from January all the way through July of 2020, Carrie and I, we were really leaning into this, like building this online movement. So we learned a lot of tips, I had more personal growth in that 7 months than at any point in my entire life. We were building momentum, but something happened. It's 4:47 a.m. Like this is like, I'm not bullshitting you guys. These are real stories. It's 4:47 a.m. I was stuck at a red light. Okay. Red light at 4:47 a.m. and it was never ending. And that's when I had my moment that, why the heck aren't we selling high ticket programs in the gym? Scott's already created this insane 63-day like program, the vehicle for tracking habits. I'm like, why the heck aren't we selling this thing like brick and mortar? It makes zero sense. Like there was a lady inside of her mastermind. She was hypnotizing people in for weight loss with no workouts for $5,000. So I'm like, why the heck aren't we selling it brick and mortar? What happened that day? I'm like, I'm going to do a discovery call. I'm going to use the discovery call script. From that day, for the next 30 days, we sold $40,000, $670 at Arrowhead. Scott, what happened next? I need a little breather. Kind of what happened after the Arrowhead?
That's where like, okay, all right, proof of concept, right? Because there's all this high ticket online stuff we learned.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, well, how come, yeah, how come they're doing this low touch point online stuff? You, for God's sakes, I don't know if you guys really heard that correctly, but there was a woman who would hypnotize people into losing weight, and she charged $5K for a program.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, no judgment anywhere. And I am not qualified to speak about hypnotism, but what the fuck is what my first thought was. I'm like, what the absolute fuck? People will literally give somebody online $5,000. Like, even to hypnotize somebody online, I'm like, does that, again, I don't know how legit hypnotism is or is not, but I wouldn't think it would work well on a Zoom call. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the hell? And then, yeah, the program that took me a decade to create was actually scalable. And it was a lot based on, like, if you're a fan of James Clear's Atomic Habits, right? We decided, yeah, let's do this thing. And you just crushed it. And then it was just like, oh my God, proof of concept. People are willing to pay. They see the value in it and they're willing to pay for it. I mean, 40 grand, and that was in 4 weeks. That wasn't even a full month. It was like mid-August to mid-September 2020. I remember that. And we weren't even charging her full rates then. And so that's when like, okay, we got to do this at all the other locations. And that's when we decided to teach all our operators to do this at the other locations.
And 4 years later, we're right here in this call. So here's my promise to you guys. The next 5 weeks, we're giving you the entire playbook. Everything that we do with build, sell, fulfill, renew, we're going to break it down a week at a time. Like I said, every chapter of the book, you guys are getting the rough draft of it. So if you want the first rough draft version of build, put build in the comments. We'll get it over to you. Okay. We are giving you the entire playbook. And it's the entire playbook that's what I'm most passionate about. It's the Jerry Maguire model. It's teaching you guys on how to make more money with less clients. These are a couple of my favorite graphics coming up. I don't know if we've ever settled in on an official offer statement, but I woke up this morning and this is it popped in my mind. What I'm obsessed with is helping good gyms become great by making more money with less clients. Like any good gym owner out there listening, this will take you to the next level. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts. If you're a struggling gym owner, take bits and pieces of what we're doing and apply it. But if you're a good gym owner, just like I was in 2019, that had the pain points of, I knew there was something bigger out there, right? I was tired of being just a professional rep counter. And I was tired of charging, $800 for one-on-one reps and people not truly going all in. Then the next 5 weeks are for you. Shannon Logan, you guys, she was on here last week. Like, this is the definition of making more money with less clients, making bigger impact. Like, the proof is in the pudding. If you look, she went from 195 clients to 112 clients, and she's added $40,000 in revenue. She's the exact, she's our avatar. Someone that came in, her gym wasn't struggling, right? She just felt stuck and she knew there was something bigger out there. Just her applying the phase that we're talking about the next 4 weeks, that's exactly what happened to her business. You have something to say?
Can I interject for 1 second on that one? Like,
sure.
If you haven't watched that, we did it last week, so you can find it in Gym Owner Freedom. It'll be on the podcast if you're a podcast person. But talk about elevating and changing somebody's life and who they are. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. Because again, if you guys are picking up what Dave was putting down, it's like he felt he could contribute more than just being a rep counter. Mm-hmm. Right? And handing out macro plans. And he actually wanted to make a true impact. And this high ticket program, like that's what allows you to do it. And then it's the same thing. It's the same thing that we're so passionate about. What we're doing is changing people's lives, like gym owners' lives, mm-hmm. helping them go from good to great, helping them become more than just rep counters like we have. And if you just listen to Shannon, will break down exactly how she did this in her model. Her 6 week was an onboarding, right? Like more PT focus for the first 6 weeks than group. But my God, it's changed who she is, what she's capable of. I won't even get into it on the well side. It's nuts. And then now you're bringing up somebody who's the traditional 6 week challenge, right? Like the traditional Hermosi 6 week challenge gym right here with Sierra.
Prime example. So I had my onboarding. We built out Sierra's 1 year journey, and the bullseye is really simple. She's going to be $1 million gym. And the strategy we're doing that, like, she's still doing the paid ads. She still has her 6 weeks. Like, she's increased her price point to $9.99. but that's not how she's getting there. Why? That's not how she wants to get there. She's like, Dave, I want to create my dream book of clients. So we worked backwards and we have the exact strategy on what's going to take Sierra to $1 million gym. Her delivery is large group, but we're already renewing her mentorship clients at an average price point of 600 to 800. That's not including the 2,500 to 4,000 that she's charging up front. So like the math is really simple here, guys. Like just by focusing on bringing in those dream clients. And like Carl said, you're going to get turds in that aren't going to be ready for your high ticket program. That's where you guys have your downsells. So the math with Sierra, if we can get her to 25 to 30 of her dream clients, she's at $1 million gym. So that's, and once again, though, the key here is Sierra came in, she was already in a really good position. We was in a really good position. We took her revenue from 22K. I think when we launched, she hit 52K in 30 days. So this shows the power, guys, of just launching your program successfully. Then we took a time out and we're like, we reevaluated, we dialed in her renewal option. Now we're going to focus on 5 Mile Celebrity over the course of the next year. Her price points are dialed in. She is going to be $1 million gym, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. So that's the stories, guys. Like that's what gets me out of bed. It's when I get messages like this. Devin Moore, this was, I think on Tuesday, he sold, I mean, let's do the math right there, 6,800, a 5K just online this week. He came on the call today. He had to do a downsell at 1,500 for his 9-week like accountability program. Crystal, shout out to her. She came in today. This text is a little bit, this was probably 2 weeks ago. She's already at 9 high tickets. 9 high tickets, wow. And we're in week 6 or 7 of the cohort. And then, I don't know, Big John Winters is freaking on here. John Winters, he came in a position to where we had to build his initial movement from scratch. He had his first 12-week paid in full earlier this week. So guys, this is what gets me out of bed right here. Now, hey, sell some $5.99, we'll celebrate anything, but this right here, because I know every person that they're going to lead on this journey, they're going to change their life. So how are we going to do this, guys? So next 4 weeks, we're going to break down the big 4 pillars, okay? We're going to have a core mission for each of the pillars, okay? So when it comes to build, the mission is simple. It's creating an offer that you would die for. I know that's extreme, but you're not going to sell a $3,000 program that you like or enjoy, right? With Caleb, we're building a freaking program that he would die for. I love working with executives and dads. Like I would die for that offer. I would die for our PTO offer. So step number 1 is building the freaking offer that you guys would die for. That's what we're covering next week. The week after, we are getting in. This is probably my number 1 skill is teaching people how to sell with conviction. Confidence does not sell $3,000 programs. It's conviction. It's taking someone by the hand and saying, we're going to work together and change your life. So 2 weeks from now, it's sell. And the key word there is conviction. Fulfillment. Okay. 30 minutes a week is the key. And it sounds wild. I know you guys don't understand once we focus on building and teaching you how to sell from a fulfillment angle, just because Scott has done all the heavy lifting with the 63-day tracker, we're going to teach you how to simplify fulfillment of your high ticket with a very simple tracker in combination with a 30-minute call that you're going to perform on a weekly basis. And the last thing, and this was the missing link when we initially rolled this thing out at Arrowhead, we didn't have that strategy in place on how to renew. So my first batch of renewals was awful. This is what took us the longest to really master. And now, just like Sierra, it's like, okay, now you're selling 2, 3, 4 of these high tickets. That's fantastic. But guess what? It's overrated unless you're renewing them. So week 4 weeks from now, we're going to go over the exact strategy on how to get your renewals for 6 to 12 month EFTs. And that's the true Jerry Maguire model, guys, to where you're going to be able to focus what? On making more money with less clients. So that's what I got.
It's a lot of money, guys. Like, and Shannon was just on talking about it. Her renewal rate for anybody that goes through her high ticket program, which I think varied a little bit, 2,500 to 3,500 for a 9-week program for 9 weeks. That's it, guys. She had I think a 90% renewal rate. Mm-hmm. Not even we're talking not dropping down into just training only or group only at that point. We're talking continuing on with a mentorship program. And what was her price? It was around 750 or 775 to 875. Is that what it was?
That's the freaking sweet spot, man. It's that anywhere, depending on like $600 to $1,000, you get those locked in and you just stack them and rack them.
Yep. And you look at like, yeah, the average high ticket client for you in the course of a year, they're going to be worth 10 grand, $10,000. You don't need many of those guys. Like Dave said, 20. Get 20 of those things. Your whole life changes. And these are the people who are happy to pay. They expect the least. They show up. Their credit cards don't bounce. And they're so coachable because you've learned how to interact with them the right way, because you have a program that you would die for. You have to believe beyond a shadow of a doubt. You have to have conviction, as Dave calls it. It's not even like confidence, but it's conviction. And I understand that if you don't have a program like that, it's hard to wrap your head around it. I get it. But that's what we're going to teach you how to do. And when you have that, you're like, oh my God, you needed, when your deliverables are so freaking good though, and it might take you a bit. Sometimes you got to sell it and you got to take somebody through it at a case study. And then you see when you did it the right way, when you sold it in the right way, where they have buy-in and they're actually malleable to make changes, where it's not pulling teeth to get them to change their nutrition habits. And you take somebody through a case study and understand this, and then it's going to be one of the best clients you've ever had in your entire career. That's when it just like clicks. You're like, oh, people will pay this. And holy shit, people who pay attention and they take this shit seriously. And this has been the easiest person I've ever worked with. I didn't have to convince them and pull teeth to get them to make changes. They loved it. They're giving me those glowing video testimonials. And then they're telling you how they changed their life and who they're becoming. That's when it really clicks, Dave, right? It's just like, that's when you're like, oh, yeah, people will pay this. These are going to be the best clients in the world. This is going to be the best experience you've ever had in fitness ever, period. And once you get that, then it's game over. Then you have that conviction like, oh, it's worth every single penny.
You said
the sales is so easy when you have that conviction.
You brought up something a couple of times, Scott, and this isn't about changing your guys' business, guys. It's about changing your life. Like the mentorship clients that I have, like they give me energy. Like I have an ex-professional athlete and I talked with him and our call went over an hour and a half, right? This is a guy that has millions of dollars in the bank account. And we're just, it's just, I'm giving him that platform to just talk and be heard, right? Like, so this isn't just about changing your guys' business. Like there's a whole different life out there for every single person on this call, right? It's so much more enjoyable when you get to work with people who clock in, put in the work. It's a completely different life that you can build.
It is. It's like, it's what, what you're describing, like waking up and being excited about what you're doing. Okay. The crappy clients who give you shit all the time, who just want more class times, guys, that's not why you don't look forward to those ones. Right. But your dream clients, those are the ones that give you the energy. Like everything I'm doing makes a difference. Right. Some of them sucks. I'm like, oh God, this person again. You know what I mean? And your brain just goes off in la la land while you try to get through that hour. And then you have those ones that you just connect with. Right. And the ones that are just changing their life. And they're like, thank you so much, Caleb. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, Josh. Like you're changing those ones make all the bullshit we deal with worthwhile. And just a few of those people can just keep us going. Right. And this is what we're going to teach you, is how to attract more of these into your gym and how to work with them. And everything gets better, but it's the impact that we're all after. And I think like, that's why I light up. And this is what, in one of my favorite books on financial philosophy, we'll get into this, right, is Killing Sacred Cows. And he talks about it's your soul purpose, SOUL. When you get to live your soul purpose, that is where everything changes and becomes more enjoyable in your life. Your work becomes meaningful. And sometimes it's very easy to get away from that because we're trying to pay the bills. And we have this, and we have that, and all this kind of stuff. And we lose track of that. But we can reconnect and live our soul purpose. Life is exciting and it's pretty badass. And for me, because I have been so broke and so hopeless at certain times, especially with small business ownership, but I've gotten through it. And I'm not claiming to be, I'm not claiming to have $100 million in the bank, but I built a pretty freaking amazing life for me and my family, which I never saw coming. The fact that I went through it, like, I'm very passionate about pulling people along with me that way, like really passionate about it, and I get to do that, which is awesome. And that's changing and evolving, right? I'm not as excited about helping people on the fitness side of it. I've been there, I've done that. Then I moved on as an entrepreneur, struggled, and I'm moving up, right? And then the little nuances in the gym and the little things that we need to teach to get it going, well, that's great. But, and I've really helped you guys do this over the last several years, but now it's moving on to taking those big, sexy profits and turning into indestructible wealth. And so, Dave, now you're focusing more on the gym side of it. I'm helping these gym owners turn profits into wealth, because it's what lights us up. And if we can help you do more of what lights you up, guys, God, life gets so much better. It really does. It really does. And that's what it's really all about.
Guys, if you want a sneak peek, like, I want you guys to come in into each week super prepared. So if you're not a current legend, like, scan this thing. I'll send you chapter 1 of the book so you can take a look at it. Like, legitimately, it's our entire playbook. You can book a time with Krager. Okay. For 15 minutes, Krager will help you build out the initial strategy. Then we freaking next Thursday, same time, same beautiful channel, we get on here and you're going to have a high ticket offer after next Thursday. So, brother, Josh Price said, keep these calls tight. So that's all I got today. We're at 48 minutes after. So, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, come on to these. Mark these things in the calendar. We're going to build out offers. Everybody's business model is a little bit different. Whether you're group, semi, one-on-one, whatever it is, you're more focused on this, you're more focused on that. You can build a high and mid-ticket offer out. So we're going to do it live on the call. Come and ask your questions. And if you're not sure if it's going to work for you, this, that, the other, maybe you've got an online hybrid option, whatever it is, we can help you craft your offers. So it's going to be more of a workshop next week, I'm guessing, right, Dave?
Next 4 weeks, man. Like, we're legitimately, the entire playbook is coming out. That's why I put a message in our private group. I'm like, guys, everything has changed so much the last 20 weeks, changes in the market. So the current legends, if you're listening, you will get a ton of value coming to these calls. Like, it's kind of like a crash course of everything we do in high ticket launch. We're just condensing it down into a month. So the only reason to hire us, guys, if you want us to help us implement it, like, freaking information, like, it's great information. It's implementation. That's the reason that you hire us. The next 4 weeks, like, I'm pumped to share the playbook of what exactly the step-by-step what we do.
Absolutely. And it's so valuable because it's iterative. Like, everything in the market is changing. The last 12 months have been more difficult in this industry than it has even in, like, COVID, practically. I mean, excluding people in California or Canada or something like that. But yeah, it's been challenging. The market changes pretty rapidly. And so we're very iterative. We're not teaching the same stuff that worked years ago. It's all tweaked and it's all moving forward to keep up with the times. So even if you've, like Dave said, even if you've gone through some of this before, or you started it, tune in, because some things work better now than, like what we're doing now is more applicable now than it was a year ago, than it was 2 years ago. So everybody's going to get value from this.
Love it. 50 minutes. We tightened it up, guys. This is
right.
I'm super pumped and excited for the next 5 weeks.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Next Thursday, 3 p.m. PST. No, 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. PST. No, EST. 12 p.m. 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST, Thursday. Mark your calendars. Throw out your email in the comments anywhere if you want us to add you to our calendar event. That way, it'll just drop in, just accept it. I do have a good 15, 20 minutes after this call. If you got questions you want to run by me or Dave, stay on, but I'll cut the recording in case there are personal things about your specific model, anything like that you want to go over, so it's not broadcast to everybody. With that being said, thank you, guys. We'll see you next Thursday. Stay on if you got questions for us. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you are ready to start making an extra $10,000 a month or more This month, by making more money with less clients and create a consistent flow of high-quality leads, you can learn about what it's like to work with me and how ridiculously affordable it is at CoachScottCarpenter.com. And if you got any value out of this episode, please pay it forward and leave a review for this show. It helps other gym owners find the answers to the huge problems that we all share. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.